What up, brawlers? Welcome back to Throwin Hands. It's been 3 months, unfortunately, but we're back. It's me, and we got a new co-host, guys. It's Jarrett Wilson. Jarrett, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Ready to talk about this crazy card, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd say we just hop right into it. So we're gonna go. I didn't tell you to look at this one, but Carlos Ulberg versus Nikolai Negumereanu. Carlos Ulberg has a lot of hype. I mean, he's from City Kickboxing, so that's what comes with the territory. But there's been nothing from him that I've seen that's really stuck out talent-wise. I mean, he's a big dude. He punches hard, but I would hope if you're light heavyweight, you punch hard.
Right. With that weight behind you.
Yeah. So I'm not. I honestly think Negumereanu might win that fight, but I just want to touch on Ulberg because I feel like we'd be doing a little disservice to the UFC fans if we didn't.
Yeah, I mean, both 4-1 in their last 5. Looking at who their recent one is, Ulberg's recent win was against Tafon, crazy name. Another one, like you said, it's Nakui or something, but that was a win with inside the first round. So
yeah, we got some. So we're gonna head over to the fights that I said we were all gonna talk about. So Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Silvana Gomez Juarez. Kowalkiewicz, former title challenger to the belt. She's trying to get back into it, but she did win her last fight. But outside of that, she hasn't looked too hot.
No. 4 losses to that previous. It's just, trying to get back on that horse. And Juarez, 3-2 in her last 5, 1-3 in her last 3. Not the best, but another tough opponent to rebound with. It seems like the UFC on this card especially just put those fighters that are just on the verge of either getting back or getting to the next level against other fighters that are on the exact same page. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that one's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, and if you look at Kowalkiewicz's last few fights, Felice Herrig, she beat Felice Herrig, and then Jessica Penne, she got beat by Jessica Penne in her return about a year ago. But I'll say this, I do think that this is a good step up for her, but I can't see her getting back into title contention anytime soon, personally.
No, especially not with this one. One thing that I found cool, and I use Tapology, just going to like what fans are thinking. Juarez was at a 65% fan vote on that one, and 53% of that 65 said she was winning by TKO.
Yeah, I mean Juarez can ball, and it's basically pick 'em with the odds at -15 and -105. Yeah. So if you're better, this isn't exactly your favorite one to bet on. So. For an early prelims fight, this is an absolute banger. Matt Frevola versus Otman Azaitar. I fear for Matt Frevola.
Yeah.
The rumor was they were going to pair Otman Azaitar with Paddy Pimblett back in London, but I don't think the UFC would want to stop the hype train
They could definitely have hype again with this guy.
Yeah.
With Azaitar.
Oh, for sure.
He could definitely be a moneymaker in the future, for sure.
I agree, and he hasn't fought in the UFC. He hasn't fought for over 2 years, but his knockout against Pac Allen,
Yeah,
that's one of the more scary ones I've seen in the UFC personally. And then he beat up Conor Worthy, who just retired with 24/7 Promotions in Pittsburgh. So, I mean, and a former.
That was a brutal fight, too.
That was a brutal fight. I swear, if Conor Worthy had head movement, he'd be a great fighter, but he just doesn't. So. And he's retired. And he was on the Throwin Hands podcast a couple years ago, so check that out. But yeah, I mean, I think I got a Azaitar by knockout. What do you have, man?
Honestly, the same with you. Very early. Frevola's loss to McKinney was within 7 seconds. I think McKinney's movement and that slight, quick power that he has, I think that's going to be a lot close to what Azaitar is going to bring to the table, and I don't see Frevola stopping.
Yeah, and you make the point about Terrence McKinney. I mean, Terrence McKinney is great. I think he'll be ranked with next year probably, and he's fighting. I forget who he's fighting in Brazil, but Otman Azaitar just punches so much harder, and he's probably even quicker. And when he's in that pocket, it's not a fun time for anyone. Right. So
if he gets 1-2 punches together in a row, it's going to be.
And it doesn't have to be good punches either.
Yeah.
That's the scary part about him. So
Yeah.
I think Azaitar takes it. But we're into the prelims, everybody. Andre Petrosky versus Wellington Turman. Two guys looking to get into the middleweight picture. Turman, I mean, he has won 2 in a row, but Misha Serkinov on the downcline. Sam Alvey, one of the most. I don't know why he was signed for so long. He was left on like a 10-fight non-winning streak, but his only loss is to Bruno Silva. I'll give Wellington Turman that. That's a good loss. But
Yeah.
Petrosky, I'm not. I don't know what to think of him yet personally. He's, he has 3 fights as well. He's been around about a year, but Nick Maximov, he just got released, and Yao Zhang, he's very okay. So I think the UFC are pairing these two up to say, hey, we want to see who's the better, and we'll push you up a little more.
Show us what you got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was saying this to you earlier. I'll kind of do my pick right now.
Yeah.
I got Petrosky. I mean, I'm a wrestling guy. Petrosky's a former wrestler at Kutztown University in Pennsylvania. I have a bunch of buddies that go there. My assistant coach from the wrestling team, he's an alumni, and then my former drill partner is a wrestler at Kutztown right now. He was also a 3-time state medalist in PA, won 151 matches in his career, and was a state runner-up his senior year. So I just think that grappling game, I think Turman is going to struggle with that too. So I got Petrosky.
Yeah, I got Petrosky too. I think that I'm always going to bet on a wrestler personally.
Mm-hmm.
I just have faith in wrestlers, so therefore I will take Petrosky as well. Aaron Blanchfield versus Molly McCann. Molly McCann's been kind of on the up and up a little bit lately with that spinning back fist knockout against Carolina, and then she knocked out Hannah Goldie. Hannah Goldie, let me just say this about Hannah Goldie. She should not be at 125. She should be moved up a weight class. She's too muscular for 125, I think. She dehydrates herself too much, and I think she'd benefit from a weight class change. But that knockout, potentially knockout of the year, if we're being real, against
Beautiful.
Luana Carolina. So, I mean, it was round 3, and she just came from the depths. But Aaron Blanchfield is no slouch, 9-1. Blanchfield can fight, beating J.J. Aldrich, beating Miranda Maverick, and beating Sarah Alpar. Alpar, she got cut, but these other two, and J.J. Aldrich and Miranda Maverick, that if those are tough opponents, especially J.J. Aldrich, she's on the up and up.
Yeah. Like that, you say stuff like that. She's the moderate favorite in this fight. Minus 390 from the odds, 76% by the fans on Tapology. It's just hype. Hype is a big thing in combat sports. It's hype equals confidence. And that confidence to be able to win from wherever, whenever, can go a long way in whatever sport. So it's just, can she control long enough and stay away from Molly that she can get the win? I'm excited for this one. I like hype personally, and I think Molly McCann's a great fighter.
Yeah, I like hype too. And I think Aaron Blanchfield's grappling, I think she's going to have to utilize it. I think
a lot.
Although I will say, Molly McCann does keep her head on the center line a lot. She doesn't have great head movement. So I think Blanchfield should utilize her takedown threat and, go down. Molly McCann's I think she's prepared for the takedown. Just throw some strikes, get up against the cage, because she's not going to move her head very well. Mm-hmm. I think Blanchfield submits her. I think Blanchfield is really, really good.
I think Blanchfield's really good too. I definitely expect her to win. I think if we're talking betting though, I think Molly, this fight would be a good fight to take the underdog too.
Yeah.
So I feel like this one has a lot better chance of the underdog coming out on top than some of the other ones.
I agree. I think everyone loves Molly McCann. You can't hate her.
Yeah.
She's
very likable.
She's very likable. She's totally cool.
Sad that her and Patty aren't on the same card.
Yeah. But hey, we get it spread out though.
Yeah.
But I fear for Patty against Jared Gordon. He's solid, and we'll definitely talk about that card because that's a great card, especially with Yuri Prohaska and Glover on that card.
Yep.
Banger. Absolute banger. All right. Dominic Reyes versus Ryan Spann. Dominic Reyes, he's only lost against the best, but he has not looked the same since John Jones by any means. And you could argue John Jones lost that fight. That's in the past. Dominic Reyes has not been the same fighter since he fought John Jones. He got demolished by Jan Blachowicz, and Yuri sent him to the shadow realm for a year and a half.
Fighting 3 champs in a row and 3 tough fights in them, those are fights that take years off of not only your career but possibly your life. Like it's hard to bounce back from that. Like I just don't see it happening.
I mean, Ryan Spann is really good too.
Yeah.
I mean, let's take a look at Ryan Spann. I mean, he beat Ion Kudalaba. He submitted Kudalaba. Kudalaba's a dog. Let's get that out there. Beat Misha Serkinov. He lost to Anthony Smith, but Anthony Smith's been looking pretty good. He broke his leg against Magomed Ankalaev. Let's hope he recovers there. Lost to John. Oh, I forgot he lost to Johnny Walker, but this is a great chance for Ryan Spann because he hasn't beaten too many big names outside of Kudalaba. So
this would be a big name.
This will be huge for him, but
yeah.
I fear for Reyes in the sense that what is he gonna look like after 2 brutal knockouts in a row? And I mean that Yuri knockout alone will take a year or 2 off for your career.
Yeah.
And I thought he broke his neck, but I don't know about this fight. I think it's pretty 50-50.
Like I feel like this is a type of fight that's to see if he's ready to even come back into the mix. And it's a tough fight at that to come back in.
Yeah,
so
let's take a look at the rankings real quick. You make a good point. I mean, Jamal Hill, dude, that guy has bricks in his hands. He could cut down to 85, but I like where he's at. Rakic needs surgery. Magomed Ankalaev is really good. Jan Blachowicz, Glover Teixeira. I'm telling you, light heavyweight, give it a year or 2, man. It might be the best. It might become UFC's banner division again. But let's go to predictions, man. I think Spann gets it done. I hate to say it. I love Dominic Reyes, but Spann might get it done.
I agree with you. This is an either way. I'm still gonna go Reyes though. I have it written down in my notes. Spann is coming off of a good win, but he doesn't have that full-on momentum to go up against a veteran-style fighter like Reyes, who has 3 championship fights in a row, or against champs. I see Reyes getting it done, but I see it being a close fight for sure. Possibly going to the judges.
Yeah, it could go to the judges, but we'll see. All right. Featured prelim on ESPN News. Brad Riddell versus Renato Moicano. Moicano coming off a beatdown from RDA. That was a beatdown.
That was bad.
And that fight shouldn't have been made. He
No,
shouldn't have taken.
absolutely not.
He shouldn't have taken 5 rounds. I'll say that. And then Brad Riddell. He got subbed by Jalen Turner. I forgot how quick that was. And that Fiziev knockout was kind of freaky. I'll say that. He was standing up and Fiziev was about to let a few more shots go, but the man himself, Herb Dean, stepped in. I have my opinions on Herb Dean, but I won't say them. Herzog's the best ref. That's undeniable. But I think this is a good turnaround for these 2 fighters. Renato Moicano, he's been around for a hot minute. And then Brad Riddell, he's so close to being very good, but he's just not there yet.
Yeah. I mean, ranked at one point. This, you'd say it could be a fight that could get him ranked, but Moicano that fight with Dos Anjos was just such a bad thing to do that it puts a lot of, I feel like that fight still has a ripple effect on this fight now because it puts Moicano in a rebound position that he really shouldn't have been, or to the point of where he shouldn't have been. Like, if that's a 3-round fight and you get beat up for 3 rounds, like, yes, but no, he went a full 5 rounds and got beat bad.
Yeah.
So,
and if you look at this top 15 in the lightweight division, I mean, just look at it. It's so good. I mean, Sarukian's 9.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the lightweight division for a minute, man. But I think this takeover of the young guys coming, with you got Poirier, Gaethje, Chandler, Dariush, Oliveira up all the top. These young guys that are coming in like Fiziev, Gamrot, Sarukian, Jalen Turner. I think it's gonna be quick and violent.
Very, very. It was quick and violent with Islam. And the UFC makes so much money off of the lightweight division. As soon as they get a little glimpse of a star, they're going to fast track them to the biggest fights possible. So I agree with you. Violent, quick, with the new stars.
Yeah. But I think Riddell knocks him out. I like Riddell a lot in this fight. I think he matches up very well with Moicano because I think Riddell's a lot quicker than Moicano. Although I do like Moicano's grappling more than Riddell's, but I think Riddell gets it done.
I mean, 5 subs from a rear naked choke from Moicano. I'm going to have to agree with you, though. Yeah, I got Riddell.
Yeah, but I'll say this. Moicano does get it to the ground.
It's going to be...
Good night.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it'll be a nice sleep, but all right. Dan Hooker versus Claudio Puelles. Here's my thing with Dan Hooker, man. After that Poirier fight, he has not been the same, and you can't expect him to be the same after a beat down like that. I mean, somehow Poirier got better. I don't get it. I don't understand. But Dan Hooker has. I don't know. Puelles is really good.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about, I mean, he subbed Clay Guida, dude. I know Clay Guida is like 45 years old. I'm exaggerating. He's old, and I'm sure he's even admitted that. But dude, Clay Guida is tough. You sub him, you have skills. And Grutzmacher, if he gets you to the ground, it's not going to be great. And he's only lost 1 fight against Bravo in the UFC, and then he's rattled off 6. So I'm interested to see.
Dan, yeah, I mean, looking at Dan's last 5 too, it's just.
I mean, ringer.
He's not going to be the same, and it's like I said earlier, just the same thing, same fight. Dan's trying to rebound, get back in, prove himself that he's still a prominent fighter in this division, and they throw a up-and-coming guy at him who's just on the brink of 1 or 2 big names, and he's a prominent person in the division then. So it's just, and it's not the best matchup for Dan at all. Dan's one of my favorite fighters, but it's just, like you said, the ringer, it's like they throw him to the dogs sometimes.
Let's take a look at his last few years. Edson Barboza, knocked out, KO, TKO. James Vick, he beat James Vick. Ali Quinta. I mean, that Felder fight, war. Poirier fight of the year, that was a war. Brutally knocked out by Michael Chandler, whom we'll talk about in a minute here.
That was his debut, right?
Yeah, that was Chandler's debut.
Chandler's debut. Yeah.
I mean, that was perfect matchmaking. I hate to say it, but that was perfect matchmaking to get Chandler into the rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Beat Nasrat Haqparast. Haqparast is pretty good, but he's on the cusp of ranked and unranked. Islam Makhachev, I mean, if Dan Hooker wasn't so tough, he would have, and I forget who the ref was, didn't step in, his arm would be torn off. Yeah. And then I don't get the cut to 45. He should not have cut to 45. No. He looked so slow in that Arnold Allen fight.
Yeah. I think like that. You have problems at your previous weight. You lose 3 out of 4 and you're like, all right, let's try and change it up. But what you're changing up is you're going down and you're cutting weight in a brutal sport that can get you seriously injured. Like, why do that? And then he ends up like that. A fight like that could end up impacting your career. And now we're talking about a fight like this where it's like, this could very well maybe the end of Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen many people say that, like, they wouldn't be surprised if he hangs it up after this fight.
Yeah.
Like,
and we like you said a couple minutes ago, we talked about, the changing of the guard, the young guys coming in. This could be the first one, I think.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Tony's already out, sadly.
Yeah.
I saw a slow-mo of the Tony Chandler knockout. Dude, that broke my heart. Why are you replaying that? That's not cool.
I saw someone say that if Dan loses, they should have him and Tony fight.
They should have made that fight this time.
Ago, a while ago.
And they shouldn't have put Tony against Nate Diaz so quickly after a knockout like that. I mean, I'm glad that was the pay-per-view. Tony got pay-per-view points. I'm so happy for Tony. I love Tony, but that they should not have made that fight. And Tony was gonna fight Li Jingliang.
Yeah.
he would have. That was the best thing to ever happen to Tony because he would have gotten knocked out.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about Tony another time. They should have made Hooker Ferguson for this card, and I think we all would have been happy.
Yeah.
Very violent fight. Oh, and Tony didn't cut Nate Diaz. If that says anything, if you can't cut Nate Diaz, you probably shouldn't be fighting.
Yeah.
I love Tony, but that was ill-advised matching. But we gotta get back to this. Puelles is really good.
Yeah.
Great grappler.
I think me and you are going the same route on this one.
As much as it pains me to say, I love Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
I mean, I fell in love with Dan Hooker after the Poirier fight. That's my fandom started in February 2020. But Claudio Puelles by submission, man. I hate to say that, but I will say Dan Hooker can throw up a really good triangle.
Yep.
In a pinch, so Puelles has to watch out for that. But Puelles by submission. What do you have?
Puelles by submission, and a lot of people agree with us too. 52% of the fans say he wins, and then 73% of that say by submission. So
and that shows that if 52% of the fans are siding with Puelles,
that's a lot,
and everybody loves Dan Hooker. There's not one guy that hates Dan Hooker in MMA. So, dang. All right. This is the swan song for Frankie Edgar. Chris Gutierrez. Chris Gutierrez is a beast. I saw him fight in Columbus. He's very, very good at fighting.
Kicks are brutal.
Yes, his kicks are brutal. He knocked out my buddy Vince Morales by that. Shout out, Vince. Let's get you on the podcast again soon. But Frankie Edgar, they're not giving anybody easy for an out, but I think if Frankie Edgar wins this fight, that's a solid fight to end your career on.
I don't think a guy like Frankie Edgar wants an easy one to go out on, though.
No.
Like, this is something that I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he somehow pulls this out. Because just such a legendary veteran fighter. If he's good at catching kicks, so if he wins, I think it's going to be by decision. I don't see anything spectacular, but I still have Gutierrez, but really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I think let's talk about Frankie Edgar. I think he deserves some talk. Lightweight champion, defended his belt twice. Some of the most legendary lightweight fights ever against Gray Maynard. I mean, he contended at featherweight for the title, and he was top 10 he was top 10 in 3 divisions. If that says, and Frankie Edgar could have cut down when he was 25 to bantamweight. They just didn't have the knowledge back then. I mean, what this guy could have done 2 weight classes below if he had figured it out. Frankie Edgar's he's one of the greats, and I don't think people. I think he doesn't get a bad rap, but people don't recognize that.
Yeah.
All right. So predictions for this. I think Frankie gets it done. I have faith in Frankie.
Really?
I personally have faith. I think Frankie gets it done by decision.
I'll be the bad guy. I got Gutierrez by TKO and head kick. Not a body kick, TKO. I got him knocking him out with head kick.
Oh, just like Cheeto?
Yeah.
Well, Cheeto's front kick was brutal, and his face got memed, sadly. People's main event, I'll say this. This is the people's main event.
This is what I'm looking forward to.
This is what I'm looking forward to. Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
Gosh,
There's so many ways it could go.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many ways it could go. Big thing I'm seeing is Chandler going to finally get out of his shell and wrestle? Or is he going to keep trying to please the fans? You know what I mean? Because if he's smart and takes a wrestling approach to this, I think it's going to be a lot closer than if he tries to have a slugfest for the fans. But which one's going to be more well-received? You know what I mean? So
my worry with Chandler is if I can find an image of because I know what I'm trying to talk on. Here we go.
All right. I say he has the wrestling ability. I don't think he has the conditioning ability.
Yeah. And Michael Chandler likes to put on a show. All right, here's what I worry about with Chandler. See, look how wide his stance becomes when he throws a punch.
Yeah.
And Chandler is so heavy on his front foot. So what I worry about Chandler is that, I mean, he has power. I think if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. Straight up.
Absolutely.
But he put so much weight on that front foot that I think Poirier is just gonna chop and chop and chop and chop. I mean, Gaethje was getting him
Yeah.
with those calf kicks, and Poirier was, people give Gaethje credit for the calf kick, but Poirier has been at it for a while too. So I really think if Poirier just gets a rhythm going with the calf kicks,
Yeah.
and I think if Poirier gets Chandler's back up against the fence, I think it might be a quick night for Poirier. And Chandler's just going to want to perform, give a show. That's what he did against Gaethje.
Yeah. I think 3 rounds benefits him for that too. If this was 5 rounds, I'm not even close to putting this up for who wins. But 3 rounds, I think it benefits Chandler a lot. I think Chandler has ways to win this. I don't know if he will go those routes and has the endurance to really go out and get that. But I just think Dustin's better. I just think Dustin's a lot better too.
I think Dustin's a lot better too in that
Yeah.
regard. I mean, Chandler's grappling. I'll say this: I think Chandler has the grappling advantage with his wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Poirier if he had pulled guard, he would have submitted Habib with that guillotine. I am confident in that. But gosh, I love Dustin Poirier. I think he wins this fight, and I think he's one step closer to a title shot. I think we'll get Gaethje Poirier Poirier 2 out of it. But I think
If
Poirier,
that's what we get out of it, that's who I want to win. Then honestly, I want Michael Chandler to win. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Chandler was an All-American at Mizzou wrestling, so usually I go with wrestlers without a doubt. But I like Dustin Poirier too, so I just don't see it happening. I think he's gonna piece him up, bad too.
yeah, I mean Poirier has some of the best. I think he has the best boxing in the division, to be
Yeah.
honest. So
Yeah.
it's not going to be pretty. But I think Poirier knocks him out.
Yeah, me too.
Alrighty. Carla Esparza versus Zhang Weili. Carla Esparza coming off the most boring fight in UFC history. Oh my gosh, I would have rather
A
watched
lot of
paint
people are
dry.
calling it fake champ.
You know what's up, Michael. That's our boy Michael sitting outside, but that was an awful fight. Pat Barry was saying, Rose, you're going with the plan. Great job. No, what plan? You're making it boring? You're playing right into Carla Esparza's hand right there if you're making it boring. Carla Esparza makes fights boring with her wrestling. Although she did beat the brakes off Yan Xiaonan. That was a beatdown. But you're not going to win fights like that. And Zhang Weili is going to bring the heat no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say
Always
about this
does.
fight?
I just look at Zhang. Like what Zhang was able to do her past 2 fights with Joanna is just what you should be looking at for in this fight. Because yes, she lost to Rose, but Esparza beat Rose. But the way Zhang lost to Rose, I think is more respectable to how Esparza beat Rose. So I think Zhang absolutely runs the gauntlet in this one.
And
Bad.
Zhang, you could argue Zhang won that last fight against Rose Namajunas.
Yeah.
Back in MSG last year.
Yeah.
It was close, but I thought Rose won that fight with the wrestling in the latter half of the fight, but and that
brutal back fist against Joanna off of her last fight.
that hurt. That hurt. I love Joanna, my fellow Polish person, but I see no path to victory for Carla Esparza.
No.
She's not quick enough to shoot for takedowns. She doesn't have the power to compete. She's not nearly quick enough to. Zhang Weili's a fantastic boxer. I don't see much of a path for
Grappling
Carla
is
Esparza.
the only way she will win, and she's not quick enough to even do that.
Carla-
I think this is a TKO and early.
I think
TKO, KO
if
early.
Carla is to win this fight, she has to get up along the fence ASAP, or hope Zhang Weili decides to clinch for some reason. And Carla Esparza has to make this the most boring fight ever, more boring than the Namajunas fight, in order to win. I think. So, I think Zhang Weili gets done very quickly, and I think it'll be very brutal.
Yeah.
But people are clowning on Carla Esparza for wearing her belt down the aisle for a wedding. Like, let her wear the belt.
I'd do that.
I would
you kidding
do
me?
that.
I'd do that.
I would totally do that. Are you kidding? You guys are just jealous that you'll never win a strap. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's
I'd-
probably what it is.
I'd
I
wear
would
my
do
belt
it.
around the house. I'd sleep with it. You kidding me? Like that
I'd
would be
sh-
my pillow at
I'd
night.
shine it every day.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. But yeah, quit being insecure. Carla Esparza deserves every. She won the belt.
Champs can do what they want.
Champs can do what they want. All right, this has the
we
potential to be an absolute banger or the most boring fight of the night.
I don't think Izzy's gonna be boring in this one. I think Izzy wants this one and wants it bad and for good reason. I think he goes out and gets it done. I think we're gonna see a lot of stuff like he did against Whitaker. Not necessarily if he can outstrike him, but I think if Izzy's smart, he can get the win against this.
Yeah,
You know?
and Pereira he has the equalizer, bro. I don't know what it is. It's true one hitter quitter power. Like
It's that little left hook, and you guys can't see it because I'm on a voice, but I'm doing the little left hook. It's like a little shrug that he does. He doesn't even have that much power behind it from the looks, but it puts people out cold. So it's just from any position, any time, Alex can knock you out. It's just everyone wants to keep saying the lighter gloves. The lighter gloves is going to lead to more power. But I think Izzy has quicker hands. So I think Izzy with quicker hands, lighter gloves, he's going to get a lot more contact and hits in than what he already did in kickboxing. He arguably won the first fight. He was winning the first couple rounds of the second fight and then gets knocked out. I don't know. I think Izzy can get it done.
yeah, I think Izzy can get it done too. But I just worry that Izzy's just gonna try and make it boring. I hate to say it,
And
that pains me to say. 'Cause
Yeah.
I want this fight to be so good.
Yeah.
Because Izzy was electric before he won the belt, and I think Izzy's just content with defending the belt, which I understand. Keep defending your belt. Keep getting your pay-per-view points. Keep getting defenses. But when he last main evented back in July against Cannonier, I thought Volkanovski Holloway should have been the main event because Adesanya hasn't been entertaining. So I think I don't know about this fight, man.
It can go anyway, and that's what we can overanalyze it all we want. It's whatever their camp, whatever they're thinking, whatever they're confident in, what they're going to go out and do. Izzy has the potential to win this. I don't think Izzy can put him down for the count. I think Izzy can go to the scorecard and win all he wants. Outstrike him. He can outgrapple him, I think. It's just, I think if he goes past 3 rounds, he's in even more trouble than what he was in kickboxing because I think Pereira can put him out whenever. So I think if it goes past 3, I don't see Izzy making it to the scorecard. So I think Pereira wins by TKO or KO in the 4th or 5th round, honestly.
It pains me to say, and I think if Pereira didn't have the power he had, he wouldn't be in the position he is.
No, not at all.
Gosh, I don't know. I hope. Here's my hope. I hope Pereira wins by KO. Adesanya annoys me to some extent because he comes in, he talks this big game, and then he puts on fights that could put I don't have a child, but my theoretical child to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, he came in with the Undertaker intro last time, and it's like, okay, if you're coming with this Undertaker intro, I expect a show. I expect me to eat all my popcorn out of enjoyment. But you know what? I think Pereira gets it done. I hate to say it. That left hook is the equalizer, the all-knowing equalizer in MMA right now. And I think if he lands, it's over. And think about it. Izzy's been in over 100 combat sports striking matches.
Yeah.
That chin's due to expire, and I hate to say that, but this could be the fight. All right, man. We went through the card. Let's go to some news real quick. Kane is free.
Yeah.
Kane is free. I don't know how to react to that because he did try to kill a man, but the person.
I was gonna say I don't know what we're allowed to.
Yeah, but
I don't know what we're allowed to really say on the.
But I'll say this. I'm glad he's free for his family's sake. I am glad he's free. I mean, I understand why he did what he did.
Absolutely.
Because whatever that dude did to his son was awful.
Anyone with their in their right mind would do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's free
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah, and let's hope he beats the charges enough to which he doesn't go to jail.
Absolutely.
It's been pretty light with news, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But I think let's go to some matchups. One matchup I want to talk about is Ilia Topuria versus Bryce Mitchell. I fear for Bryce Mitchell. We have to pull this up. I think it's only appropriate we pull this up, Jarrett.
Okay.
I think you probably know what I'm going to talk about. Let's mute this tab real quick. What is it? Ilia Topuria versus oh my gosh, what's his name? Jai Herbert. Yeah, we're gonna watch this after the ad, but I think people underestimate Topuria's grappling ability in this. I mean, Bryce Mitchell's a great grappler, but Topuria has a black belt as well, and all of his submissions, all of his wins before the UFC, I'm pretty sure, were submission. Let's take a look at that real quick, actually. But outside of that, he's knocked out every UFC opponent except Yusuf Salah, which he out-grappled completely. Jai Herbert, Damon Jackson, Ryan Hall, all by knockout. And all of his, like I said, all of his wins before the UFC were by submission. Bryce Mitchell doesn't have this type of power, if we can get to it real quick. Like, look at this. I mean, Topuria is fighting up a weight class. Jai Herbert's like 6'2", 6'3". And Topuria is 5'5", if I'm not mistaken. And boom, right there. That is scary power.
Play that again.
Like, and Topuria got head kicked beforehand. So
that's crazy.
That's simply scary power that I think Topuria is going to be champ one day. I am a firm believer in that. But what's your thought on that matchup, man? I think it's one of the better ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, power and speed. Definitely going with you on that one.
Jim Miller and Gabriel Benitez, February 18th. Solid fight there. Okay, I don't get how Chase Sherman's still in the UFC, bro. This dude's what's his record? We gotta look it up. What's his record in the UFC? We gotta look this up. This is very pertinent. These are things we need to know, because I know it's not great, and I think he has a very much losing record. And I think someone like Chase Sherman looks like they should be good, athletic wise. All right, he's won 1, 2, 3, 4 fights in the UFC, and he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 fights. 4 out of 13 fights he's won in the UFC.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And he only lost 1 fight before he came to the UFC, so I don't get it. I think he should. I'm not saying he should be cut. I'm not one to say that. I will never fight, but I don't think there's too much of a place for him in the UFC. Yeah. And Waldo Acosta-Cortez might knock him out. We're gonna take a look at the upcoming cards. We got some decent stuff coming up, if I'm not mistaken. Next week, Lewis versus Spivak. That's a good fight. Derek Lewis. Dude's on the downfall. I hate to say it, but then again, it's heavyweight, and 2 knockouts will get you right back into the title picture.
Yeah.
Although that was a beatdown from Cyril Gahn. I don't know how. I don't see how he can compete with the top dogs anymore.
No, I don't think he can. But like you said, it's heavyweight. Anything can happen. Like we said, at light heavyweight, all that mass behind one punch is gonna put anyone down. So anything can happen. But I definitely think Derek Lewis is on his way down too. So
yeah.
As much as I hate to say, he's one of my favorite fighters. His social media is hilarious. Follow him on Instagram if you somehow aren't. But
I don't get how Derek Lewis hasn't been banned yet. So to give you some context, he posts the most wild stuff that you will ever see on the internet. I don't even think I'm exaggerating here, man.
It's Twitter stuff, and he somehow gets it on Instagram. And
Here's how he does it. All of his captions are, "He's okay." And some dude, lights some gasoline, and the gasoline blows up. It's stuff like that. It's not normal content, but Hey, it's Derek Lewis. We all love Derek Lewis. Shout out Derek Lewis. Ooh. All right. This Orlando card is amazing. I mean, Thompson, Holland, Tuivasa, Pavlovich, Barberena, Dos Anjos, Mateus Nicolau versus Matt Schnell, Jack Hermanson versus Derek Brunson, Anders versus Dawkins, Price, Rowe, Hill, Ducati. Dude, this is a great card, and this is a fight night.
Yeah.
And you got Hebus and Cortez on the prelims. Great way to end the year, and then you close it. Then Prohaska versus Share 2. We're gonna go in depth on this when the time comes. Obviously, we have to. But I think Prohaska gets done really quickly in this one because there's a difference between recovering from a war like that at 30 and 43.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Glover more than the next person. I love the guy, I really do, but it's gonna be tough. And then Cannonier versus Sean Strickland card to end the year. Good fight to end the year. Okay, what? Before we move on, what was Sean Strickland thinking trying to stand and bang with Alex Bejeda in that fight?
I love Sean Strickland, but his ego is just something. I can't tell if that's his actual ego or if he's just like a cartoon character, like in real life. Because you saw it at the press conference too, like him just crap talking Izzy, both of them. He was crap talking both of them. Like I don't know. I feel like he just kind of let his ego get the best of him. He just looked so flat. Like he was trying to mock Alex's stance, like doing that kickboxing stance, got absolutely mauled in the body. And then as soon as he dropped his hands,
he dropped his hands the whole fight. I'm like, why would you drop your hands away from your face against the hardest puncher in the division?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. And that was the perfect matching by the UFC because that just propelled Bejeda up to the top. And now he has a title shot within, this is his 4th UFC fight.
Yeah.
Michailidis, Bruno Silva, I think, and Sean Strickland. Yeah. Jeez.
But at the same time, people do like to nag. Like, yes, they are completely running him straight for the title shot. But at the same time, who is Izzy not beaten? Like,
let's take a look at that.
He's beaten everyone in his division. So it's like you got to come up with something. I mean, we're here excited about it. It's getting fans excited. I'm excited to watch the fight, see how it ends up. Like,
I mean, Paulo Costa got,
and they built an amazing card behind it too.
Exactly. Jack Hermanson beat Chris Curtis. I don't know what Chris Curtis was doing at the end of the fight, flicking him off. You got beat up. I'm sorry. You got outstruck by Jack Hermanson. That is terrible. Now, I will say Hermanson's striking did improve vastly, but in preparation for a Darren Till fight. Darren Till, I mean, he has to fight Dricus du Plessis on the Prohaska card. Dude, I don't know about Till, man. I mean, his thing is his 1-2, and that's all he has sometimes. But if we look at this middleweight division, beat Whitaker twice, beat Cannonier, beat Marvin Vettori twice. Although I'll say this, I think Marvin Vettori, I think he's the third best in the division behind Izzy and Whitaker. Yeah. I don't think people understand how good Vettori is. I mean, did you watch the Costa Vettori fight?
No.
Do yourself a favor and watch that fight, because Vettori's iron chin really propelled him to victory there. But yeah, he beat down Paulo Costa. Have you seen Paulo Costa's Twitter?
Yeah.
It's the best Twitter. Somehow he hasn't gotten canceled yet, but
hey, Twitter's a weird place.
It's a weird place. It's a weird place.
Say the least.
To say the least, yeah. But I mean, Andre Muniz, he's gonna be a big problem because he's the only great grappler in the division.
Yeah.
I mean, Vettori can grapple. I'll say that, and Hermanson can do jiu-jitsu. But yeah, man, 85's fun. I think I talked to you after this fight, but gotta give it to Leon Edwards, man. He knocked off Kamaru.
Oh yeah, we were texting.
Yeah,
about
we
that.
were talking about that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But yeah, welterweight's fun. I'm excited for
what are the odds for the Izzy Pereira fight?
That's a good.
Because this could possibly 3 cards in a row where the With the underdog?
Izzy is favored -165 to Pereira, underdog at 140. So almost to pick him.
And Charles would have had to have been favored in Vegas, right? Being the champ, or was Islam favored?
I think we can
Off
look
of
at
that.
that. I think we have to be able to look at that.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
I don't know if we can go far
yeah,
back.
we can look at. We could probably look back at it. Recap. No, Makhachev was favored.
Oh wow.
People love Habib relatives.
Yeah.
I think they're cousins. I'm pretty sure they're cousins. But anyway, Habib calls all of his friends brothers, so they're basically relatives. But dude, I don't know. We'll end it here. But Adesanya Pereira is a toss-up in my opinion.
Oh, 100%.
Because if honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see Izzy grapple if he gets scared. But we'll see what happens. Jarrett, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this was fun. So we'll be back Monday or Tuesday. I can't tell you when, but with a review of 281. It's gonna be a banger. We'll see you guys next time.